Jameis Winston took a step backwards yesterday after his 5-touchdown performance in Week 1. The quarterback came way back down, crashing back down to earth in Week 2. Boy, he struggled hard against the Panthers. No touchdowns, 2 picks. Panthers 26, Saints 7 was the final. Nobody eating W's yesterday. Here was Jameis after the L.
A better job communicating. I think that's the biggest thing. We have to continue to push forward, and like I say, eliminate the negatives and just build on the positives, man. We like, I've been a part of these games before. A lot of people have been a part of these games before, but we can't let this game affect us heading to next week.
All right, Nick, which is closer to the real Jameis Winston? 5 touchdowns in Week 1 or 2 picks in Week 2?
Well, Week 2 is who he's been forever, and Week 1's who he's been never. So I'm going to go Week 2. And while Broussard is out here talking all this trash about my tough weekend of predictions, let's not forget that somebody was like, oh, Jameis Winston and the Saints, playoff team. Jameis Winston, could he be a dark horse MVP candidate? Yeah, for the Panthers. He was the best player on the field for the Panthers. And it warmed the cockles of my heart, Broussard, to see the old Jameis Winston we've all known to grow and love. So yeah, the whole, hey, he threw 5 touchdowns. Yeah, man. And he had 97 yards with 8 minutes left in that football game in Week 1. That was an aberration. We all knew it. This Saints offense struggling mightily is what I think we're going to see a lot more of this year, Broussard.
All right, look, the prediction, we were told to make a bold prediction. You couldn't pick like the top 20 quarterbacks in the league. If you were a top 20 quarterback, we couldn't name you, all right? So I had to say somebody like Jameis Winston. I got a little bit of egg on my face, not as much as some of us have on their face, but a little bit. But I'm going to stick with my man Jameis and the Saints. The Saints will indeed make the playoffs. They are ahead of the Falcons, who somebody else predicted to make the playoffs. But they are going to make the playoffs. And Jameis, he's really in between. But I'll say, I'm going to answer it and say he's closer to the 5-touchdown guy. Not going to throw 4 or 5 TDs every game, but he's going to give you 30 touchdowns. I'm saying that, 30-plus touchdowns, and he'll cut down on the mistakes. This was good for him because his head was big after Week 1. His head was too big, and he needed to be brought down to size, and this was good for him. Now he'll be back in the lab working as hard as ever.
All right, so I think this was a classic letdown game. I would love to see Jameis back in the lab. Who knows what we're going to get? Some unconventional workouts. They're headed to Foxborough. So, Jenna, I think we're going to get the answer to see, like, hey, was the game 1 just sort of like an emotional high and Aaron Rodgers said sort of an emotional low? We'll see what happens in Foxborough, which I think the Patriots will roll, and Nick will end up being proven right.
All right, we'll say Zeke got fed. Tony Pollard did too. Balanced attack, unlike back in Week 1. Prescott led Dallas on an 11-play drive to set up Greg Zuerlein's 56-yard game-winning, there it is, split those uprights, field goal. Dak was happy and confident after this one. Take a listen.
To be able to come out here and get a win, get a road win against a good team, I think it's special, and it's just a building block. It's the first win, as I said, of many, and it was hard to get. And credit to the guys on the other side. That was a fight, but our team stayed resilient, stayed committed to one another, and we're able to go get that win.
Go get that win. A much more balanced attack this week for Mike McCarthy's Cowboys offense. Take this in. They racked up 435 yards of offense. Hey, Chris Broussard, how should we feel about the Cowboys through 2 games now?
Well, there's a lot of good to take from it, and I get where Dak's coming from. For him to beat a team with a winning record was big because he had lost 10 of his last 12 games against teams with winning records. So that is a positive. The run game, as you saw from the stats, was a positive. Ezekiel Elliott looked good. Tony Pollard looked great. That's interesting to watch there because Tony Pollard looks better than Zeke right now. And Zeke looked solid yesterday, but Pollard looked special yesterday. But they did have the balance. I actually would have liked to have seen them throw it a little bit more, let Dak do his thing, but they were running it so well that they stuck with it, so I get it. But here's the thing, right? They don't look like a contender right now. They look like a team that can win the sorry NFC East, all right, and a team that can maybe win a playoff game, but not a team that's a threat to go to the Super Bowl. They could easily be 0-2. All right, it was good for them to get the win, but the Chargers had tons of self-inflicted wounds. 2 penalties on the Chargers that cost them touchdowns. Literally cost them touchdowns. So the Chargers could have won that game, and then Dallas would be staring at 0-2. But it's good to learn from mistakes in a win better than learn from mistakes in a loss. So they're what I thought they were, Nick.
Yeah, it only took 34 minutes, but Broussard finally got something right this morning. Tony Pollard's better than Zeke, and that's a problem for the Cowboys. It's good they have a legitimate quality NFL running back. It's bad that it's not the one on the $90 million contract. Tony Pollard was far better than Zeke yesterday, and Zeke was fine, but Pollard was clearly the better player. The Cowboys should feel good. They went on the road technically, even though that was a Cowboys home crowd, the way I said on Friday it would be, and got the win. And their defense held the Chargers to 17 points, but only, the defense was better, but not nearly as good as the points would suggest. A lot of long drives, some Herbert interceptions, some drives that stalled out. Broussard mentioned the 2 touchdowns that were taken off the board. So the Cowboys defense not quite as good as the final score might suggest, but they should feel good they got a win that I thought they were going to lose. I thought they were going to start the year 0-2. But the biggest story to me from this game, and what should make Cowboys fans the most anxious, is Mike McCarthy is clueless. Folks might think I'm too hard on coaches. Nobody can watch what the Cowboys did in the final 3:56 of this game. They got the ball with 3:56 and 2 timeouts, and they end up field goal range. Coach, it's a 56-yarder, and our kicker's got a bad back. Nope! No need to use a timeout. No need to try to get it closer. We're in field goal range. Listen. Field goal range is not a binary thing. It's not either you're in it or you're out of it. Once you get in it, you can get in better field goal range. And McCarthy's his excuses after the game were absurd. He was like, well, we had a guy come off the field who wasn't supposed to, and the clock in the stadium went out. Buddy, you had a timeout. You had 33 seconds left and a timeout. Call it and try to make it closer. Because he made the field goal, McCarthy's skating on it. So it's a good win. They should feel happy they're 1-1. But McCarthy needs to go to Clock Management 101. I teach a seminar via Zoom on Saturdays. It's $150, half hour. You'll be better, buddy. Sign up for it. That's bad, Jenna. That part was bad.
So I took that class because I wasn't sure what I was signing up for, and it did not help me at all. It was just a waste of time, but it was fun time with Nick. We talked some Patriots-Jets yesterday. Mac Jones was solid all day. Pretty dominant Pats win. Pretty mistake-free day for Mac, just 186 yards passing, but he did what he had to do in this one. So, Kevin Wildes, are you impressed by Mac Jones and the Patriots through 2 games?
Jenna, I don't appreciate your read, and we rarely have, beef on this show, you and I, but I don't like the tone of that read. I don't like the tone of that. You said, he's solid. Here's what the Patriots are about, everybody. We're about winning games. Bill Belichick doesn't have social media, and I'm sure he doesn't play fantasy football. So while everybody else is out there, Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson are trying to beef up your fantasy teams, I guess, or they're doing self-esteem projects, throwing the ball all over the field. Bill Belichick's not doing that. You know how many interceptions Zach Wilson has thrown? Besides 4 yesterday, 5 total. How about old big neck Trevor Lawrence? He's also thrown 5 interceptions. How many has Mac Jones thrown? 0. Because Bill Belichick won't let him. Robert Saleh's Zach Wilson, he's got to learn to make smarter plays. Bill, that's not even an option. Mac Jones be like, hey, buddy, that play right there or this one. Those are your options. It's like a kid's meal. You want chicken fingers, the hamburger, or the grilled cheese. That's it. You don't get to go off the board and be like, you know what? I would like the calamari. It's not on the kids' menu. We're growing up right now. So do I feel impressed with Mac Jones? Yes, I do. I feel great about it, Broussard.
Wildes, I could not agree more. A very smart take by you. Look, when I was raising my children, There were a few things you got a chance to watch on TV. All right, I didn't just sit him in front of the TV, give him the remote control, and then say, watch whatever you want. HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, whatever you want. No, you got Nickelodeon, you got a couple choices. All right, and it's the same thing with Mac Jones. Nick, I guess you'd rather, just throw him to the wolves like Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, as Wild said. I mean, this is so smart.
That's correct.
In fact, this is reminiscent, and I'm not even going to say the name because I don't want to put Mac Jones in this category.